guys, welcome back, and this video I'm going to do a review on a book I read recently, and this is Once and Future by Capetta and Cori McCarthy. So the book was published in the end of March 2019, and it follows main character Ari, who is 42nd reincarnation of King Arthur, and with help of Merlin she needs to defeat the greatest evil in the universe. So I'll try to make the first part of this review non-spoilery, so if you haven't read the book you still can watch it, but I will tell you when the spoilery part starts, so yeah, don't worry about it. So I have quite mixed feelings about this book, because on the one hand I really enjoyed the process of reading it, I was really interested in the plot and all the stuff, but the more I think about this book, the more I realize there's a lot of stuff I didn't like in it, so yeah, and I don't see myself rereading it. I'm still kind of questioning, do I really want to read the second part, because it's a start of a duology actually. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to discuss. But I don't want to seem like negative, because yeah, I've enjoyed my time reading this book, so let's start from the stuff I like in it. First of all, I love the magic. I'm usually not a huge fantasy person, but I really enjoyed reading about magic system in this book, because we follow a lot, not only Ari, the King Arthur reincarnation, but also the Merlin himself, and he tells a lot about his magic and the limitation of his magic, which I think it's really cool that also described the limits of magic too. So I've really enjoyed reading these bits. There's also a little bit about Morgana's magic, but I think like we get to know Merlin's magic more. Overall, it was really interesting. Second of all, the whole representation feels quite organic. I was really nervous when I started to read the book, because unfortunately I read some way where representation just didn't feel great, or it was like weird, or like it has no effect on the characters or on the plot. Thankfully it's not the case with that book. I really liked reading about every character. Maybe I wish we would get some more information about some of the secondary character, but like this is just personal opinion. Of course, like Ari is the main character, so we'll get to know her more, and because we follow Merlin as well, so we get to know him more. But yeah, I wish we get a little bit more info about some secondary characters, especially about Jordan, also Kai moms. Yeah, we should get to know them a little bit more than we did. But overall, yeah, I was a little bit scared, because a lot of people, when they talked about this book, they was pointing that like there is a lot of representation, and I was afraid that authors can't manage it well, but yeah, they quite did. So another stuff which I really liked about the characters, that they're not like typical kick-asses like another YA. So I saw a lot that in like a little bit dystopian YA, where the main character also defeats like the greatest evil, like powerful government, or like evil monopolist corporation. The characters are just teenagers, but let's say this really great, and I can't believe in it. When you read a book, you wanna feel like the characters are real, and it's not the case with some of that YA, but I'm really glad it's not about that book, because it really shows that defeating the greatest evil would be hard and long process, and that your opponent could be smarter than you think. And yeah, for that I really love this book. I wish that we see more like that in YA. Also, the main character, I love that Ari kept changing and evolving and growing through the whole book, because when I started reading it, I hated her. Like, I literally thought like, girl, you're disgusting, I don't want to read about you, I like Morgana more, or like, but towards the end of the book, yeah, I really enjoyed Ari's character. There was one moment which I can't understand still, but overall, yeah, I love how she grows and how she changes. It was really great. And another stuff I really like is, of course, this is King Arthur retellings, so there's some links to original legends and some other retellings. which I really enjoyed. I loved finding these little bits. Like, I can't say that I'm an expert in Arthurian legends, but yeah, I found some bits. I really like them. I wish there is one more link, because like, I found one bit and I thought it is like Easter egg towards legend, but later get to know it's like, no, actually there isn't any links to legends with that specific character, and I was really sad about it. I wish like I found a really interesting part, but yeah, I'll talk about a little bit about this later in the spoilers thing. So next is stuff I didn't like. First of all, I didn't like the ending. I will not tell like what exactly I didn't like. I just, when I finished the book, I have a feeling that this story needed different ending. Like, literally, I would prefer open ending more than what we get, and I wish it would be like standalone book and not a duology. Yeah, I didn't like how the book ended and what we potentially would get in the second part. Another stuff which kind of disappointed me, it's like genres, because I saw this book quite a lot on Booktube, on like different TBRs and stuff, and a lot of people, besides like points of representation, was also like describing this book kind of like, this is King Arthur retelling and sci-fi, and I was like, great, like these two things like which quite interested me. I have to say, I'm not like a huge fan of Arthurian legends, but I've read one like quite old trilogy by Mary Stuart, but it's not like about us, it's more about Merlin. But yeah, I read stuff a little bit about different retellings. I watched at least one TV show and one movie, I guess. So yeah, if it would be like retelling of English classics, I wouldn't bother reading it, but yeah, King Arthur part definitely was a huge motivator. But sci-fi description was also one of the main reasons I've started this book, because as I said, I'm not a huge fantasy person. But I really like sci-fi. I read mostly sci-fi, and after finishing this book, I would never ever call it a sci-fi. Like, just not. I understand that there is a lot of genres in sci-fi. There is a lot of like mixed genres, like science fantasy or techno fantasy, but I don't feel the scientific part in this book like at all. If I would describe it, I would call it like fantasy in the futuristic setting and with a little bit of dystopian vibes, but I can't call it sci-fi. I don't know, maybe it's just me, because like I'm a huge fan of heavy sci-fi, like okay, what I can give an example from a recent books, like I've read The Martian, and like I was huge fan of this book, like about it all, like boring scientific stuff, like please give me more. Like, I really love reading this stuff, and it was kind of like I was expecting at least a little bit of this in the book because it's sci-fi, but like it's not. And because we didn't get a lot of the science stuff, like I was left with the feeling that world building is struggling. So okay, like space travel, how the so-called generation ships worked, so the ships they used to move away from Earth, no idea. How the current ships works, no idea. How the barrier around cage works, no idea. How MacBooks works, no idea. And I was like questioning this stuff. Like, I want to know how this world functioned and how the science evolved, and I didn't get it. So yeah, if you're a lot into heavy technical sci-fi, you will not find it in that book. But if you just fascinated kind of by the idea of people living on another planet and about space travel, but you don't care how the spaceship works and how they're supposed to get you from point A to point B without taking like thousands of years, yeah, you may enjoy this book, but yeah, I can't call it a sci-fi. I can't. So let's move to some mixed feelings stuff. First of all, authors really try to show the difference between Merlin and the other characters who lived in this future world. When I first read it, I was like, yeah, great, this is a really cool idea, because this Merlin came from ancient times, and how it's like a contrast with the modern society, because yeah, he feel like he have a different understanding of society, of relationship, of sexuality and gender. Like, yeah, great. But when I would start like analyzing it a bit, I feel like also a bit overdone it. And this won't be spoiler, it's like literally facts from first 50 pages. So from what I've read, I can assume that author number 37 lived around our timeline, maybe like a few decades earlier, but at least he was like a teenager in 80s, I guess, or maybe like a bit later in our times, but somewhere around that time. So Merlin was reincarnating quite a lot before that, and he was incarnated later, because author number 40 definitely lived like in the future in comparison to our world, and because of like the slight like, description of mentioning of technologies we don't have, and possibly will not have in the near decades. And there is at least few generation gap between Arthur 41 and Arthur 42. Each reincarnation, it's not like 1 year thing. So Merlin awakes, he met Arthur who like a kid or in early teenage years. They spend some time together before next Arthur die, and like it's the end of the reincarnation cycle. But yeah, Merlin lives at least few years in our current society and in a little future society. So he should be familiar with these non-binarity concepts and with that non-heterosexual relationship could be a norm and all that stuff, and he kinda like doesn't. His mindset still very binary, very I assume that person I met is heterosexual and all that stuff. And also he still wears his ancient magical robes. Like, can you imagine a young man here like walking, I don't know, somewhere in New York in the ancient robes and nobody cares? Maybe nobody cares, but it would be looks weird. I don't understand that why he can't change his outfit, why he's so stuck to the outfit he carried from like time of first Arthur. So I wish that authors would make something other differences in this future society, and Merlin would compare like his last cycle of Arthur's reincarnation with that one, and not like, oh, I lived in this medieval times with homophobia and stuff, and oh my god, people could be non-binary. Yeah, I don't think it's too much contrast for the person who was awake in a different periods of human history. Also about world building, I wish we could get more info about Mercer Company. It gives me like slight dystopian vibes, and there's some really powerful and well described moments which makes you really hate the guys, but overall I feel like it's all for the readers. So hey, we give you some bits about this company so you will know that this is a bad guys, just hate them. But like, yeah, I wish we got more in-depth stuff from authors. I can't say like we get nothing, but I need more world building, honestly, especially because we had a lot of parts written from the point of view kind of Ari, not like from her point of view, but it's, yeah, book is written in third person, but a lot of parts focused on Ari, and because she is living in this society and she's defeating Mercy Company because of who she is, because of her heritage, because of her life. I wish that we will get more. Yeah. Also, again, world building. I desperately wanted to see more differences between Ketch and other planets under Mercer's company. I understand that a lot of the plot is not based on Ketch, but and I really don't remember a lot about her past on the Ketch. But it's overall it fascinates me because Ketchians was the only nation who saved their original culture and original language, and for the most part, for the beginning of the book, I thought like that conflict is more cultural one because Ketchians want to save their culture and be independent in that stuff, and Mercer Company want to push their language because in that situation, language could be a source of control because you provide like advertisement, you provide news, you provide education in that language, so that way you can control the people who speak that language. And it's also really like monopolitical thing. And so because of the fact that Ketchians speak different language, Mercer Company lose a huge control button basically over the people. And like, yeah, I thought it was mostly cultural conflict, but I don't think, but I finished like I don't think so, and it's a little bit disappointed me. Okay, so now let's move to the spoiler scene. So if you haven't read the book and you're afraid of spoilers, you can stop watching here, but for other people, let's discuss some stuff, and it would be a lot of negative rambling right now. Really pissed me off was Jordan, and at first, when she met this character, we don't know her name yet, and she was described as a Black Knight. And actually, there is such figure as Black Knight in Arthurian legends, and I was really fascinated about it. And actually, I was buddy reading this book, and I discussed with other people like how this could possibly evolve, because we like was reading like 50 pages each day around that. So we like kind of read as an introduction of Jordan, and we will continue like next day. I had so many ideas, and like literally in the end of the book we realized that like there is no any connection with the original legends, with Arthurian knights, and in general with like that's legendary figures. It's just a character, and just a character, and it's a really blank character. We don't know a lot about her. We know her name, we know her sexuality. She's at least asexual, maybe a romantic, so not sure. And she like really passionate about this night camp and all that stuff. Like that's everything. I wish we knew more about her. Also about the Lancelot trope, I don't know why, but at first I kind of assumed that all other characters are reincarnated with Arthur, so not Arthur has been reincarnated, but with Guinevere and the knights, so like they follow Arthur in each cycle, but it's actually not a thing, and I don't know why I assumed it, but actually it happens that all that characters is just like patterns, so Arthur will be reincarnated and he or she will have the Guinevere in their lives, and they will have then some of their knights in their lives, but it's not, other characters are not reincarnated, they're just like a character pattern of how the story will go, and that disappointed me. I wish that it would be a reincarnation for all the personages from Arthurian legends. When it ended up that Kay, it's like boss Kay as Arthur's brother, adopted brother, and it is also Lancelot. Yeah, this plot twist really surprised me, but also was like, I don't like it. I wish like they could put another character as a Lancelot, or if they questioned a Jordan, so that would be a Jordan. But yeah, and in general, all the betrayal thing, it was the only stuff I can get in Ari's character. Like, in the beginning I hated her, but I could understand her at least. But it's the stuff in the moment when I started really enjoying her, that how she gets that betrayal, like really pissed me off. Not like the actual betrayal, but after that, after the guy's death, and when she was left with the Guinevere again, and she like kind of forgive her, and at this point Guinevere is pregnant from Kay, and Ari is thinking about this baby like, oh my god, it's our baby. Is she already forgive this betrayal? Like, I can get it. Maybe it's like from some personal experience, but I on the place of Ari will never forgive that. For me it was really hard to understand. Like, maybe it's like personal preferences, but yeah, it was too fast. It doesn't feel organic. Like, I can understand that Gwen was a really important person in her life, and she would forgive her after some time, but it was really pushed and really fast. Like, I can't. Also, characters' deaths. If I'm not mistaken, we see two character deaths described in the book. Like, of course, there is a death of Whole Catch Planet, but it's not. The moment of death is not described. And what I don't like, I saw that pattern a lot in fan fiction, where authors have to place like a warning on their work when they publish it on the website, and they have to post that there is a character death in the book, in the story. But a lot of fanfiction authors think that it's a spoiler, and so what they do, they usually kill like some secondary character, literally sometimes just put somewhere in the plot and literally like kill them in a few pages, so the reader would think like, oh, okay, this was the character death. But then they also do like, no, that was the character death, and they kill some from the main one. And literally it's what happened in this book, and I hated it. I just don't like when author does it, because especially when they put the secondary character for like literally a few pages and kill them instantly. And what's happened with Hex. I don't like it. I really like either he will left alive and continue like fighting Mercer with Merlin and Ari and her knights, or he will just be free and we wouldn't know anything about him. And the last thing which really pissed me off, coming back to reincarnation, I think it's also a little bit miscalculate some stuff, because again, it's really clear that some of the authors lived around our timeline. I feel like it's most definitely the author number 37, because Merlin mentioned the flag of USA, Mexican restaurants, in connection with Arthur 37, and Merlin also mentioned pop music. So yeah, I feel like it was somewhere around the time, or maybe like Arthur 36 or Arthur 38, but someone from them lived around this time. And yeah, what I don't like, Arthur, like original King Arthur as a legendary figure, lived around 5th, 6th century. So okay, we know that about the original King Arthur. We know that approximately Arthur 37 lived around our time. From that we get in that in his 1500 period of time there was 37 authors, which left approximately 40 years per reincarnation for new author to be born, raised, to meet Merlin in the age from 8 to 12, and to be trained, and then died. I am not a historian, but I feel like we didn't have so many great evils in the universe every 40 years. in our history. I understand it's approximate thing, so some authors could live less, some authors could live more, but yeah, okay. Even if we have greatest evil in the universe every 40 years. So first, like 37 reincarnations are really stacked in this timeline. But then author number 40 is definitely distant from us in the time, because I don't remember exact word, but Marilyn mentioned that author number 40 stopped the Capetta rebellion or something like that. Suddenly it started to get reincarnated less, and then between author number 41 and author number 42 there is, like, as I said, at least few generation gap. But I assume it could be like honestly a few hundred years, because basically in that gap between author 41 and author 42, what happened with the Earth? First of all, people basically killed the planet and ran out of resources. Former Arabs get in the generation ship and then moved to the planet Ketch. They invented a new name for their people, for their planet, for their language, and to the point that they forget that sometime they lived on the Earth and the language was called Arabic. So like this can happen in a few years. Also about the ship on Lionel, I believe they also mentioned it was like some kind of generation ship, and it was like a few hundred years old. So why do we suddenly have such a big gap between two reincarnations? Like, while people was living in Earth, they would instantly some greatest evil to defeat, and then for some reason there is no evil to defeat. Like, I don't believe that humanity started to live a better life suddenly, and that's why there was no reincarnation for like hundreds of years. At first, like, I thought that maybe because humanity moved from Earth, and basically Excalibur was left on the Earth, so that's why, like, only when Ari was reincarnated and she was back on Earth just by accident, and she found Excalibur and like started the cycle. But after that, like, Morgana has no problems with like traveling around the universe, so I'm kind of questioning that. Also, just really no one was on Earth in this few hundred years gap. So yeah, like, this left me with some questions about why there was such a decision about numbers of reincarnation. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm like too critical, because all that stuff like revealed to me when I started to preparing the review and thinking and analyzing the book more. Like, literally when I've read it, I haven't questioned that generation gap and all the timeline with reincarnations. I haven't thought about it a lot. So I don't know. So I guess like you can still enjoy the book and haven't noticed it, but for me now it feels like lack of world building, and it like makes me not really like this book. Like, I actually ended up with 3 stars on Goodreads, but for me 3 stars is like completely average. And it's not like that true, because I've enjoyed reading it, but later I found a lot of little stuff I didn't like. So for now, that's all. Share your experiences with that book. Did you like it or not? Are we going to read the second part of the duology? Because I think it will came out in a year somewhere. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye.